I grew up in a large family, large Amish family, so there's 8 of us children. I have 150 first cousins. I was living my dream, and that was I was married to a wonderful man. We had the second child. Her name is Angela Joy. She was 19 months old, and one morning, September the 8th, 1975, she was killed instantly. My sister would drive a little Bobcat and didn't know that Angela was there, and backed over her. That tragedy changed my life forever. Doesn't seem like it's, what, how many years now since Angela's gone? 30 years.
Yeah, and in a way it seemed like yesterday.
I know, it does, doesn't it? I think about her every day. Somewhere between 90 and 95% of couples that lose a toddler in particular end up in a divorce. We didn't know how to talk about how we felt. After about 4 or 5 months of grieving, I felt the overwhelming sense of missing my daughter, and now missing my husband's friendship. The only person that came to mind for me to talk to would have been my pastor. I remember clearly the comfort that I felt just by being able to talk about the feelings that I was having. But before I left his office, he seduced me, and I was so broken and so vulnerable, I guess, that for 6 years I stayed in a relationship with him. The way I was able to come out of that and to actually get better was simply to talk about it. First it was with my brother, then it was my sister, and then the third person that I talked to was my husband.
She says the worst day of her life was when Angie was killed. The worst day of my life was when I thought I was losing the marriage.
I didn't want to talk about it. I wanted to just confess it to him and just have a happy marriage.
I called a counselor, and he said to me, I don't want to set you up for false expectations, after I told him everything that had happened and kind of where I was at. But if you will love your wife the way Christ loves you, this might turn around.
The death of our daughter and the death of our marriage and the sexual abuse of our pastor, it almost destroyed us. What helped us was counseling. Counseling is just a great, it's the tool for most couples to be able to sustain a crisis in their marriage.
They were driving down the road one day, and Jonas shared his vision with Ann, and he wanted to start a counseling center where he wouldn't have to charge people.
My husband became very passionate then about just doing counseling 2 or 3 days a week. And finally I went to him one day and I said, honey, we need some money for groceries here. And out of that need, I ended market making hand-rolled soft pretzels. And I then bought my own store. I'm Auntie Ann.
Mrs. Pretzel.
That's right. I am Mrs. Pretzel. Auntie Ann's is a modern-day business miracle because it really should never have happened. I have an 8th grade education. We went from one store in 1988 to 906 stores, I believe, today. People kept coming back week after week after week for this wonderful pretzel.
Did you see us when we were at Downingtown Farmers Market? Do you remember when we were there?
Yes.
You do? That's where we started, you know.
And I ate them from there too.
Did you really?
It was putting money in our bank, and my husband could do what he wanted to do. That was counseling couples, and the soft pretzel became a huge turning point in our life.
We counsel hundreds of people every year. Jonas was able to start this counseling center, and now going on 13 years, every week we are helping numbers of people find healing for their individual lives, for couples, for entire families.
I believe the fact that Jonas believed in me when I didn't believe in myself is powerful. And I think it's a great testimony to the fact that when we meet people or when we have family members in our own households that don't believe in themselves, if we can reach out and believe in them at their lowest point, that can be the turning point for them. And it's a powerful concept.